Hello beautiful internet family, Dan here from danstube.tv, as well as the Fearless Drone Academy, where I'm the director over there of the ultimate online drone course for beginners. And in today's video, I've got the #1 rule to stop you from crashing your drone. If you are brand new into the drone space, then I'm sure you've had all of those fears just flood you. You know, what happens if I crash my drone? How can I stop my drone from crashing? You know, how can I avoid birds from attacking it? Or how can I avoid hitting those trees in the distance? You know, all those things that you might be fearful of when you get your drone for the first time and you take it out with really no idea how to fly the drone. And I think this is a fundamental skill that a lot of drone pilots just don't do. And it's a risk assessment. Now, the name implies it, you're assessing the risks in the area. If you do decide to sign up to the Fearless Drone Academy, which will be linked below, it's just www.fearlessdrone.academy. I do have a bunch of resources for my students, and one of them is our exclusive risk assessment. Now, this is such an important document that really no one that I know of, I've met so many different drone pilots in my time, obviously I create tons of content online, no one talks about it. But how many people out there actually assess the risks of a location that they're flying in? I'm sure it's not many, probably under 5% of the people who actually go out and fly their drones have any idea of the risks that are in that area. Now, this is such a powerful tool because it actually keeps you aware and tuned into the environment. It allows you to recognize what's happening in the environment, and it gives you a bit of time to just really focus into the environmental factors. You know, there may be birds over there. There may be people having a picnic. There may be dogs in the area. You just don't have any idea what's going to happen with all of those different risks in the area until you actually sit down and think about how to approach the situation. On the Fearless Drone Academy's risk assessment, you have a few different things to fill out. So you have the date, you have the weather, which is really important, that's a potential risk. You also have the wind and the aircraft potentially operating in the area. So that's something that I would recommend straight away. You can get apps for that, which I'll have a separate video on the channel for that, as well as in the actual course itself, I detail the most important apps that I would recommend to most people out there. And then from there are a few different things to document what's happening. So you've got a circle to say where the location of the pilot is. There's a square to basically say where you're going to take off from. And then you've got a few different landing locations that you can identify with an X. And the idea is in the blank area on that document there, on that form, you literally just draw out the environment. You draw the trees, you draw the people, you draw the birds, you draw the dogs, whatever is going on in that environment, you draw it out thoroughly. And then from there, when you've drawn all of that out, it's really important to then write down roughly how high you think the trees are. You know, you can actually launch your drone and get a gauge of how high the trees are based on how high your drone is. So you can do that if you want to start off, launch the drone, fly to the height of the trees, and then write down, okay, that tree is 20 meters high, let's say. So you know there's a bunch of trees over here, they're about 20 to 30 meters high, you document that down. You know there may be a dog over here playing with, let's say, a family. So you know that it's relatively contained, but you also know that that dog may run over to the drone, for example, as you're landing or as you're taking off. You just don't know, it's unpredictable what's going to happen in that situation. If you do go over to the Fearless Drone Academy's website, I do have a sign-up section where you can sign up for our newsletter, and you'll actually get access to the pre-flight checklist for absolutely nothing. It's completely free if you sign up to our newsletter. It's a really handy resource to have. It's got thorough breakdowns of exactly what you need to know about the drone and the location and what you need to do in a step kind of format, so you know what to do before you leave the house, when you arrive at the location, and all those other things, including takeoff and landing. So it's super thorough. There's a lot going on in that document that I think is probably the most helpful document that we have for pilots, because it just gives you a breakdown, a checklist of what you need to know. So sign up and you'll get that for absolutely nothing. It's brand new, free, it's really cool. But moving back to the risk assessment, this is something, again, that is available through our course if you do want to sign up. But you can also literally just take a blank piece of paper with you. You can write some important information like the weather, the wind condition, and if there are any aircraft or drones in the area that you've noticed. And then it's all about just drawing, you know, the perimeter of the area you're in. So if you're in a park, you're probably not going to know what's going out outside of that park. So I would recommend starting by drawing just the park and recognizing all the risks in that area. And then when you launch the drone and you fly it, that's where you can then also identify some other areas in the vicinity. So, you might notice there's a bunch of birds hanging over here that are on top of a tree, and you notice that they keep flying up and then landing. That could be a potential risk if your drone is in that area flying just above the tree line, for example. That's something to be aware of. And it's also highly recommended to fly for about 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, come back, and then draw additional risks that you've recognized and identified in the vicinity. Really important. And also, as you're keeping your eye on certain things, the family over there, the birds over there, whatever's going on in that park, things are going to change. People are going to leave, birds may come and go, things may get added into the scenario. So that's where you want to actually land your drone and then add those new additions, and even put like a timestamp on it so you're aware of when things have actually changed in that environment. And honestly, you don't have to be the most artistic person in the world. You don't have to do extremely detailed drawings, but just stick figures, just a basic little item that looks like a dog. It could be a little 4-legged rectangle thing. It doesn't even have to look really like anything. You can label it, but it's just a really easy way to just visually see what's happening. And the fact that you've actually taken the time to think it through and become aware of what's happening in that environment, that's the most important process. Yes, you have something physical that you can look at, but it's more so just burning that into your brain so you're aware of the potential risks that are in that area in that exact time that you're about to fly the drone. So honestly, this is one of those things. It can help you from avoiding crashes. It can help you from avoiding any sort of risk in the area. Again, if there's too many risks in that area, just literally document it. And if it's too much, then I would recommend moving somewhere else. If there's a bunch of people flying drones, let's say, or they've got little model aircraft that they're flying, then that could be a massive risk. It could definitely collide with your drone if there's 10 of them getting thrown. So that could be a risk to the point that you go, okay, I'm going to actually go somewhere else now. This is probably a little bit too risky for my liking. So that's kind of the gist of that whole concept. It's the #1 rule to stop you from crashing your drone. It is so valuable and not enough people do it. Not enough people even know that it's a thing, or they're too lazy to do it, or they don't think that it would be helpful. But honestly, just get yourself a blank piece of paper and try this the next time that you go to a location, and it will make you become a lot more aware of the spatial environment. It will show you exactly how much is going on, the depth of certain things, the height of certain things. It will really just help you to really cement yourself into almost like a virtual reality world in your mind. That's kind of the way I see it. I literally create this drawing and I see it as like a model. I try to model it in my mind so I know where my drone would fit in that environment. And it's really helpful, such a helpful practice to get into the routine of. So definitely give it a go. Let me know how you go in the comments below. If you do pick up the drone course, the Fearless Drone Academy, then you're gonna have our risk assessment there, which is a really helpful resource. You'll also get a few other resources and 15 high quality videos, over 2.5 hours of content over there. And throughout the drone course, I actually explain how to use the resources more thoroughly. And there's a lot more of a deep dive into how to use them properly. But I just thought this was a really valuable thing to let you guys know. I'd love to know in the comments below though. And if you do want to pick up the drone course, you can use the code DANSTUBE to save 10%. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll chat to you in the next one. Peace.